Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor and I help people navigate through their awakening process. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 things I personally did to finally find my soulmate. The aching, the dull loneliness that we can feel. We already feel kind of crazy and alone as it is, but when we feel like a piece of us is missing, when we feel like we just are longing for that partner, that someone to spend our life with, that can be quite challenging. And I know how it feels to have that because I once had it. And that's why I'm making this video. So hopefully the 3 things I did might be helpful to you, because I believe there's somewhat of a fundamental quality to them. I'm sure everyone, of course, is unique and different, but I'll just share these 3 things and hopefully they help you, okay? So the first thing I did was I went through a period, a kind of a long period of self-development. A lot of us long for an ideal soulmate, and yet we are not at a place where we are a match for this ideal, this figment, this desire in our minds. So for us to finally manifest this, we must become compatible with that, what we're longing for. And at the time, I had this ache of loneliness. I was a heroin addict. I was a smoker. I was lying to people. I was living kind of a shady lifestyle. I had isolated myself. I became sort of just a depressed, suicidal, junkie, hermit, recluse, thief, kind of a bad person. So I wasn't at all in a position of attracting my soulmate, obviously. So what I did is I got myself clean and I just buckled down. I embraced the journey of self-development. I read a lot of books about self-development, about psychology. I did a lot of journaling. I had a therapist. I used a lot of the techniques they shared with me. And a lot of it just has to do with being very honest with yourself, being very willing to take full responsibility of all the problems in your life. If you were like me, anything like me, I neglected life for quite a while there, and I really dug myself into quite a hole. And it took just a tremendous amount of courage, and again, humility and self-honesty to dig myself out of it, to deal with all the problems that I created. And it was just this lengthy process I went through, but in doing so, I changed as a human being. I used to be very socially inept, you could say, straight up. I was incredibly shy around girls, especially because I became a junkie and became sort of a recluse. And I was just very nervous, always riddled with anxiety, social anxiety. So the idea of going out and talking to girls and whatnot was not at all easy for me at all, man. But I found that as I embraced this journey of self-discovery, I slowly got better. And it wasn't an overnight thing or any shift that I could look back and see from one day to the next was different, but just over months, over a year or so, I was just like a different person. I could speak to other people in social situations comfortably with authentic confidence that I cultivated by building myself up. So that's one thing I did. Number 2 is after doing that, I got myself out there. A lot of people sit there alone in their apartment and depressed about not having a soulmate, but they don't do anything about it. Things are different now. It's challenging to just meet people. And I, as nervous as I still was, and as inept as I was when it came to like hitting on girls, I made myself do it. There was this one time that was sort of a breakthrough for me. It was about a year after getting clean. I was living in Florida. And I was just with my buddies. We'd ride up to Starbucks all the time, and I get this massive freaking like sugary coffee drink because when you're coming off of drugs and whatnot, you crave sweets. So I got this huge drink, and I noticed that the Starbucks girl who made my drink, I could just tell she had a little thing for me. She was like smiling, and I could just tell she was like into me. I was like, oh wow, And as nervous as I was, I didn't let myself think about it too much. I just said something probably kind of dorky, but it was something like, hey, want to get some coffee sometime? You know, something real simple like that. But even uttering that phrase was so hard for me. And she was like, sure, gave me your phone number. Oh my God, and I walked away. I walked away so proud, my head so high, I felt like $1,000,000. And I dated this girl for like 2 weeks. You know, it didn't work out. But just in putting myself out there and taking action, despite still feeling really nervous, provoked especially because I was kind of on the spot. I knew it was now or never. I just did it anyway. It didn't come off very smooth or anything. I had a little bit of success. And I realized that the envelope bends when you push it. I realized I had the power to overcome myself, to transcend my own issues and actually create an experience that I've been wanting my entire life. So that's a big thing that I think is lacking. A lot of people want something but really don't do anything to get it. You got to kind of get yourself out there. And number 3, I became where I felt entitled to finding my soulmate. There just came a point of a threshold of self-worthiness, you could say, where it wasn't like, I hope I get a soulmate. It's, I now know that it's time. I deserve a soulmate. I know how I've transformed myself, and it is freaking time. So I remember, it's kind of funny, my wife did the exact same thing, I swear to you. Before I even knew her, she did it like around the same time frame. I kind of looked out my window one night and like prayed. I used to pray a lot. And I was like, God, bring me my soulmate. Bring me the person I'm going to walk through life with, because it's time. And that's exactly what happened to me. It was not long after that I found myself at this AA meeting. And I was at this table, and the meeting had started. This one beautiful girl walked in, and there was nowhere else to sit. There was like 9 tables, all of them filled except our table had 1 seat. This pretty girl, who's now my wife, came and sat with me. And I thought, wow, damn, this chick is hot. Oh my goodness. I didn't even think at that point, like, wow, maybe I'll date her. I felt she was out of my league. Then as I was walking out of the meeting, she was just sitting there. And I got that courage again, man. I don't know what came over me at that time either, but I wasn't even smoking cigarettes at the time. That's how I kind of started up again. I said, hey, can I bum a smoke? She said, yeah. And we started talking, you know, and then that was it. Then a couple meetings later, I was like new to this meeting. I was just coming back from Florida. This was in Michigan. This one girl was like, oh, and I told her, you know, I'm trying to quit smoking, and she saw me smoking again and sort of said something to me. So they invited me to this restaurant, like after the meeting. People always go out for coffee and stuff. You guys ever go to an AA meeting? And there was like, just the way it worked out, there was like no room. There was like 3 tables, all the people are clustered together, and there was literally no room on each table. So me and this out of all these people, me and Patty, my wife now, had to kind of go to our own table. It was just the way it worked out, you know. And we sat at our own table and we hit it off. And just one thing led to another, and I finally actually asked her out for coffee, and I took her out. And when I dropped her off that night and got into my car, I had like a synchronicity before I knew what synchronicity was. I heard the song November Rain come on right as I turned the car on. It was like dum dum, just starting, and that to me was always a sign like something big was happening in my life before I even knew about signs or anything. So it was a combination of effort, a lot of work, and when the time is right, fate sort of will weave it into you, and it will just happen kind of magically. At least it can. When the time is right, your life will rearrange itself and your soulmate will just be there. But you got to also you can't blow your opportunity. I could have easily chickened out, and who knows what would have happened, you know? So you got to seize the moment, work on yourself, get yourself out there, and trust. So hopefully that helps you guys. I'm not sure if it will or not. That's exactly what I did, how it went down for me. So anyway, hope that helps again. Thank you very much. Have an amazing day. And everyone's always asking to meet my wife. I was going to bring her on for this video, but she's like sick as a dog right now, man. She's got this, like, you know, she's just a mess right now. She doesn't want to be on camera. I don't blame her. But soon enough, guys, you'll get to meet her. She's a wonderful person. Very, very cool like me, if you like me anyway. Anyway, namaste. Peace.